Okay, everyone. Hello. We are back with Cars Casually, and we are going to talk about something we have once again been asked. We've been asked, what are the best cars? And I really hate that question because it's very, very specific for for per person. And we've had that discussion. And so instead of telling you what the one best car is, we have gotten five different opinions on what car these guys suggest for new car owners. And it's interesting because some of them have points based on cost, sheer cost. We're looking at you, Chris. And then some have them based on the whole ownership experience, which diverges from that. So we're going to find that out. We are starting with the guy who knows everything that we don't. I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce everybody. Okay, we are here. We are the Cars Casually gang. We have Nix, we have Chris, we have G, we have Paulo, we have Francis, who will never let us buy anything that's not tuned. So there, he can actually tell us what to do. Okay,
or tunable.
So we're starting with G. Tunable, yes. Cars Casually tunable. Okay, Chris. Sorry, G. We're starting with G. I haven't had enough coffee. We're starting with G. Gee, what are your thoughts on the best car for a new buyer?
Yeah, my pick would be the Mazda 2. For one, it's very versatile. You can choose either the regular four-door sedan, which, if you look at it, it doesn't look regular at all. Or
the styling's great.
Yeah, styling's great. And an equally sporty hatchback. They've got great features, as in the Mazda Connect system, which lets you pair your device, which, for pretty much everyone, it's standard fare these days. And you've got dynamic stability control for, that sense of safety, even just for puttering around town. But I guess the biggest, and of course, at 1.5-liter engine, which gives you adequate power and equally great handling. It's a Mazda, after all. So
yeah,
the Mazda, the driving fun is there. So it's also for the sporty guys, aside from the regular car buyer. But I guess the clincher would be at $995, you get a 3-year warranty, which is standard for everyone. But this one gets 5 years free maintenance because of the Mazda program. So you get free parts and labor for up to 100,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. And then, the thing to clarify there is regular maintenance. So you're sort of enticed to bring your car to the dealership every 10,000 kilometers.
Yeah, that's to avail of it. The 5-year PMS. You have to bring it as scheduled.
Yeah, it's free anyway. So, why not avail of it? Just to make sure that, you're keeping your car in top shape. And it also comes with free towing and emergency roadside assistance. So, I don't know, what more can you ask for? I mean,
which is very helpful for new car buyers. Like if you're a new car buyer, you don't want to think of like all those extras.
I guess the downside to this is the space.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, the rear legroom especially. But if you're only like like a college kid or yuppie with, I guess, a girlfriend or whatever.
Basically, Paulo.
Yeah. It's worth considering, especially in, pardon me if I may sound like a plug, but I really love the soul red color ever since. So
yeah. It's gonna cost you though.
The cost, or lack thereof. No, hardly any cost.
Does this have all the safety features that we know and love and like?
Dual airbags, ABS with EBD, dynamic stability control, rear camera.
The works.
Basic stuff, basically, which you need. It's more than enough. So
Well, here's the thing with Mazda, right? I mean, we've noticed that they've slowly been positioning themselves as the more premium, or maybe even the most premium offering in their respective segments, and that applies here too, even in the the
Even
entry
for
level.
subcompact, yeah.
Even at the entry level. So they are the most expensive, yes. But
Mhm.
if you notice the materials they use and the build quality
Top notch.
and the way it
Oh
drives,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
they really it really does stand apart from the rest. Even though it kind of doesn't make sense to have a car this expensive at such an entry level segment.
Yeah.
But if you do want the best of what's being offered for this size and in this segment, then the Mazda 2 is definitely it. In fact, it won our C award
Yeah.
in its category.
Yeah. No, yeah, because Chris, I will like disagree with you there in terms of cost, because though the price tag's expensive, but when you consider the 5-year maintenance included, it
Mm.
That's
offsets
true.
it.
That's
Yeah.
Like
true. That's true.
I think if I did the math for the CX5, the CX5 with 3 years lang, I think it amounts to 120,000 pesos worth of PMS that you
Really?
save.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
accurate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah,
so
if you factor that in, then it actually does make a lot of sense.
Diba? So
yeah.
yeah, because a lot of like my friends, like when I usually recommend this as like their first new car, they always say, but Nix, it's like the price compared, let's say, a Toyota Vios or in that class, it's higher. I'm like, yeah, it's higher, admittedly,
Hmm.
but what you're paying for is no more headaches, no more like someone who knows cars will be guiding you on the car ownership.
Yep.
That's what you're paying for.
And again, really, I mean, because some people would like, let's skip the service because we're going to be spending like what, 10, 20,000. But here, no, it's free. So you have no excuse not to go, really.
Mhm.
What do you mean if it's
Also, remember
free?
that when you're doing
Yeah,
it might be more
you
expensive in the beginning, but at the same time, there's a good chance this car will be financed. Therefore,
Yes, yeah.
you know,
yeah.
you
But all
aren't
you're going to be
looking
paying
at,
for is gas and financing.
you're not
Everything
going to be
else,
looking at hard payments later
yeah,
on.
it's
Yeah.
all free, as in parts and labor, not unless something
Yes.
Even
breaks
parts?
down, I guess.
Yes, Paolo, even the consumables, the
Mm.
fluids, the
Oils and yeah.
actually, if you go
Oh
to their
wow.
website, if you go
Well,
to
except
their
for gas.
website,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the gas,
So
but yeah, go ahead, Paolo.
so
Ask your question.
you only have to pay for something if something breaks.
Yeah,
But
if
if it's
something
just the
breaks
regular
outside the
maintenance,
ordinary, yeah. I mean, it's still
uh
under warranty, so I guess, uh,
okay.
you know, yeah.
Okay, for
Yeah.
other brands, you have to pay for both parts and labors.
Yes, yeah.
Ah,
But
okay.
other brands are starting to adopt this also.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mazda. I'd like to think Mazda started it.
I have a number
That
of
sounds like an ice
Mazda.
cream truck.
Yeah, I
I have a
know.
number. I know a number
Now I
of
want
people who
ice
have
cream.
Mazdas, and
Okay.
they just sell their Mazdas after the warranty period because for them, it gets they think it gets a bit expensive, considering
Well,
that it has a premium stamp to it already. So they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna sell my Mazda after 5 years."
well, I guess
Usually,
it's,
it takes five.
most people do that anyway. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's
a lot
five
of people
years,
do
right?
that.
If it's
Yeah.
Oh,
5 years.
we're the abnormal one. All right. Well, okay, Nix, it was interesting that you had all these comments about why you like the Mazda 2 and why you recommend it, and yet it's not your recommendation.
What do you mean a
So,
recommendation?
It's
no, no,
not your
no. What's your
recommendation.
yours.
choice?
Ah,
If
okay. Well,
you were very
if
positive
not the
about the Mazda 2, which is completely understandable, and yet your choice is completely different from that car.
okay, well, another choice,
Well,
because there are also people who really look at price for what you get, and if that's like your goal, like based on price and what you can get, I think the Geely Geely
Yeah.
Coolray
Oh, yeah.
feels a bit. Yeah, sorry, it's a running inside joke, guys. I always pronounce it wrong sometime, but yeah, the Geely Coolray, if it's peso per what you can get, I think fits the bill on like for new car buyers. And Gerard, if I'm not mistaken, or G, if I'm not mistaken, the sales prove it.
Yes, it was the best subcompact crossover for like 3 months last year, July, August, and thereabouts. June, July, August, thereabouts.
Diba?
Yeah.
I mean, the only con I guess at this point is wait, there you
It's
go.
not really.
Is it like Geely as a brand has to prove itself
Yeah.
like for the next 5 years at the very least.
Mhm.
Whether it'll make it or break it. I mean, just like any brand, Toyota's had to experience that through the 80s. And then I don't know what brand had to experience that during the 90s. But like
Hyundai.
Honda.
Hyundai Morph
Yeah,
2000, no?
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yeah,
2000.
The
yes.
2000.
2000s.
There.
Yes.
Sorry, I shared the wrong screen.
Kia in the
You can...
90s with the Kia Pride.
There you go.
Yeah,
Kia,
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Correct.
So these like it's just growing pains that every brand that wants to be great has to go through. And so the early adopters will be rewarded by good prices, good services, etc. And so far, the Geely Coolray seems to seems to be doing pretty well. Like long story short, because my brother here at home actually got one, and so far he's super happy with it. And and I gave him other options, like with a Toyota brand, with a Kia, and he's still stuck with this one. And he's not a car guy, yeah. So it's just really
Yeah.
interesting that he chose this car.
I think the Coolray is a car that the general consumer would like because, like Nix, I had a number of people ask me, "How's the Coolray?" Like I'm thinking of getting the Coolray because of how it looks. When they heard about the 360 camera view, so that those are things the general consumers liked. In a modern world like ours, people really look at technology nowadays, but according to the price also of the car. So Geely, the Coolray answers that question.
I just got a message just now. It's like someone's asking, and this guy is like he can well afford the Porsche. He's asking about the Geely Coolray. Yeah, he's like
But
he
like,
saw it on the road.
How much is
He
the
wants
service?
one.
Would you know? Like
Reasonable naman. My brother's first 1,000 kilometer checkup, it was a reasonable amount.
okay,
Like
cool.
nothing off
Yeah,
off tangent in terms of pricing. Like where you'll experience in any other brand, it seems.
Yeah.
You know what? The interesting thing that happened to me was in connection with Mazda and in connection with Geely was that there's someone, one of my neighbors, his son had gotten a new Mazda CX-5, and he really, really likes it. And his father was had just bought a new Mini Countryman, and he wanted to get another car, and the son was pushing him towards Mazda. Okay. And then the father was like, no, he really liked the Coolray. He really saw it. He loved it. He liked it, whatever.
Yep.
And the son was not convinced. And the dad said, okay, we'll go to both. And then you help me decide. When they came back from Geely, the son switched from Mazda to Geely. So
No surprise there.
Yeah. So in a lot of ways, okay, it may not be the handling machine that Mazdas are or should be. But there is something in the Geelys that is answering people's demands.
Because it's reasonable. I think, like, if I were to give one word to the Geely Coolray, it's because it's a reasonable car.
No, and
For the peso you're putting in, you're getting a lot out of it.
not for anything, but Pinoys are the type na they want something really good looking, premium
That's
feeling.
true.
Yeah,
It is
so
good looking. It is good
not
looking.
in a bad way. This is not a negative connotation, but and the Geely, I guess, offers that at a reasonable price. I mean, they have this aspirational type of vehicle, and I guess the Geely somehow fulfills that in its own way. So there.
All right. Well, we're talking about peso value per peso car, which brings us to Chris. Chris is I'm going to buy something
Peso per
inexpensive that moves
space.
my family. And Chris, what is your choice?
Yeah, I'm the
Because you've had
Kuripot one
something
in the
positive
group.
about both of these.
Yeah. Guys, let it be known. Let it be known that Chris is the karipot in the group.
So the hunt for value for money is always my priority, especially now that I have a family. Gotta be more careful about where the money goes. So, having said
the
that,
computer.
this having said that, the compact carrier crossover segment is really great for first car buyers with a family because It's practical and affordable at the same time. And out of all the offerings, I mean, there are a lot of great offerings in this category. You have the BRV, you have the Expander, and
Yep.
but my new favorite is the Suzuki XL7. Now, there's only one
Ta-da!
variant. There's only one variant of this that
Yeah.
Suzuki offers, but it manages to blend a best of both worlds kind of thing because it's got great safety and it's also pretty nice to drive. I mean, I have no complaints with regards to how it handles or its agility. It's
And the
got
ride
safety
also.
features, and best of all, they managed to keep it below 1.1 million.
How's
So,
the power? I mean, considering it's 1.5 liter.
well, the power and transmission in this category, I mean, the
Yeah.
powertrains of all the cars in this category are really nothing to write home
Yeah.
about.
No, but I mean, is it enough? I mean, because
Yeah, yeah.
especially with full
enough.
load.
It's enough if you don't plan on racing and everyone
Yeah, of course, of
with
course.
your
Nice,
family on
yeah.
board.
Of course. Yeah.
Francis like, ay, sayang.
So, with the exception of the BRV, we're looking at horsepower levels below 110.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at 4-speed automatics, if not CVT. So, I mean, they're enough to just casually pull your family to where they need to be,
Even up
safely
Yeah.
and comfortably. Because if
The
you're looking,
interior's great too. Here you go. There you go.
Yeah.
The interior's fantastic for its price
I
tag.
mean, Suzuki's has always been known for their great build quality, and
Yep.
it's no different with the XL7. You get that gigantic touchscreen, which is really nice to have.
10 inch, I think. Yeah.
Everything
Was there
feels
Android Auto
solid.
though?
No,
Would
there
you
was none.
remember? Parang, yeah, that's
There
the
was
only
none.
downside.
But none of them do at this level. Surprisingly, none of them do.
I think the refreshed BRV does have.
Oh,
not
okay.
mistaken.
I haven't,
Does?
The
Okay.
refreshed one.
checked. That would be interesting.
But the top trim, not anywhere below, doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So my other consideration was the Expander Cross, but then at the price it's being offered at, which is almost 1.2,
1.2
yeah,
something.
almost 1.3.
Yes.
Yeah.
That kind of puts it across the comfortable threshold of a first time
Across.
car buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying the XL7 is actually the best of everything because it's not too expensive, it's not as premium as the Expander Cross, but it's the quality is still excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I haven't seen the new BRV, so that would be interesting. That might change my mind.
Plug in
I actually
video review.
I own a BRV myself, so I'm a fan. But yeah, the XL7 definitely caught my attention. It should be
Okay.
checked out by
agree,
anyone looking for a first car with
So-
with a small family.
So being a BRV owner, if like you didn't have the BRV yet and you had the choice between the XL7 and the BRV, would you still go for the BRV or would you jump to the XL7?
Well, I haven't seen the new BRV, but if we're talking about the current, I mean, or
Yeah,
the previous,
the previous one. Would you jump
yeah.
or would you stay?
I would probably go with the XL7 because it's a little more comfortable. There's more room in the back.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's more room in the back and more cargo space as well, and it's a little more versatile. So yeah, I would go with the XL7. It's also not too weird to drive. I like the BRV because it drives like a car.
Oh yeah.
It's
true.
It's also got nice ground clearance. So the XL7 matches that. I mean, it doesn't drive like a minivan. Like the Expander is already on the verge of driving like a minivan because of the way you're positioned in the seat.
Sure.
So yeah, this, like I said, this is a nice, safe, best of all worlds choice for the first
I
time
agree.
car buyer. Yeah.
I agree.
So the
Interesting,
next
interesting.
car
Before
in
we
our
get-
list.
Yeah.
We've had a Mazda, we've had a Geely, we've had a Suzuki, none of which are the mainstream favorite, which is Toyota. So we're going to go to Francis, and I wonder why he chose a Toyota.
Motorcycle.
Wigo, because it's probably the most practical among the cars in its group. And basically because of these 4 points. Number one, drivability. I mean, we take into account since it's a new car buyer, it's also he or she but probably a new driver on the road.
Right.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
That's a
That's a
really
good
good point. None of us touched it yet.
Just looking at the dimensions, it would be easy to park. Super easy
Oh.
to park. Easy to fill tight spaces, And then my second point would be the ease in ownership. It's a basic car. I mean, you don't have that too many sensors, electronic sensors or stuff. So it's basically a gas and go kind of car. It is
Okay.
testify, of course, but you have your ever reliable discs and drops at the back. So it's easy to own. Next would be affordability, which would be probably one of its best features because I think it starts at around 500 plus for the
Manual.
Manual. Yeah.
600 plus, right? So there.
Hmm.
And then last would be it's well equipped. I mean, it's budget conscious, but when you think about it, it's well equipped. It
It
has
is.
more than engine. So it is nice,
Hmm.
You have safety features, and you have that Toyota stamp of reliability. I mean, you all know how reliable and resilient Toyota is. So for me, that makes the Wigo, a good choice for new car buyers because of those features. They're brief and concise.
And no, what? Oh, Francis, I have a question. I have a question.
Oh.
I have a question.
Sige.
The tunability of this car, or the tuner scene of this
Yes,
car.
yes.
How does it look?
I was also gonna get into pala, I forgot. The Toyota has this TRD variant.
Hmm.
Yes.
So for a little more, you get this updated
That's why Francis chose this.
Nako.
Why don't we have a photo of that? Where's the photo of
Yeah,
that?
It
that's
is.
the one.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It also has
That's the
special colors, diba? Like that's
The yellow one.
The TRD there.
The yellow.
TRDS.
Yeah.
the TRDS, and you have those special alloys. But I guess I
Uh-oh.
think the biggest upgrade anyone could do to the Wigo would be it's either
Turbo
to
kit.
go with the +1 or +2 wheel and tire combo. Diba? Because it's not
Wheel-
just
ah,
for
yeah.
aesthetics. Yeah, diba? Because not just for
Mm.
aesthetics, it will also drastically improve the handling.
That
Kasi
is true.
as you see,
That is
it's
true.
rolling on 14, so like 165 millimeter wide tire. So upgrading it to a +2, like a 15, 195, 55,
Whoa.
15 for 205, 45, 16 would really improve the handling.
205.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
That's-
I'm
That's just a
that's
7 inch
wow.
width. That's just a 7-inch width. Nothing drastic, nothing wild.
Hmm.
So there. And probably, the usual intake header exhaust upgrade. Why not throw it
There you go.
I was
There
waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
How
There you
accessible
go.
is that?
It's a great daily driver. Easy to park, Diba?
Reflash.
Francis,
pwede.
how
Yeah,
accessible
also make
are the tuning parts?
I think it's rated at 21, I think. I don't know how accurate is that, though. But Toyota rates it at, the gas mileage at 21 point.
Mhm.
Ah,
Well, I
that's-
guess
that's-
on a
that's
straight
fairly
highway.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
straight-
Yeah, on a highway, kaya yun,
Yeah.
kaya.
yeah. So there, you have the Wigo. For me.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
On the top of your head, Francis, if I were to do all that intake and parang not like anything shy from the turbo, estimate how much would it cost?
Well, the reflash is around 20 to 25. The intake header exhaust, I don't know, you probably spend around 30 for that.
So 50.
But those things are
Not-
fail safe. I mean, they don't really,
Yeah.
they don't really, wear out or stuff. Once it's there, it's there. Like for the exhaust, it's made out of stainless steel. So it's
That's
there
true.
for the rest of its life. It won't rust. Just like the reflash as well. It stays with the car. Diba?
Mhm.
So these are
Mm,
practical
You're gonna
upgrades.
spend an extra
For the
50.
practical upgrades.
Yeah.
yeah.
Where you
Not
see results,
Interesting.
where you can feel the results as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Francis, how different would your Wigo look if you got it?
My Wigo would have an 2ZZ engine probably.
There you go.
First thing you'll do is an engine swap.
All else fails, one engine swap. There's lots of
There you go.
and
I'm
the
not going to
2ZZ
disagree because I've done it before.
has a
Okay,
supercharger.
so our last guy, who has an opinion on this is Paulo. Paulo's been driving a lot of these cars lately, and I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay. As we've always discussed, what the modern buyer looks for in a car is value for money, something with a lot of tech and features inside, and a crossover. So, a new addition to this group recently is the Kia Stonic. Um, I would say it's the greatest hits of what a 2021 car should be because people want a crossover, something with features like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, cameras for parking. And this car is quite affordable for what it offers. And considering it's a brand that that's quite established. Usually we would find cars at this price at 725,000 at starting and tops at 925,000 pesos. You would usually see this in brands that are growing, like the Chinese brands, but it's nice to have this offering in a brand like Kia.
Yeah.
Established
I
brand.
think it is. As it stands, this is the most affordable crossover you can buy today. When
Like
I
as
checked
in
the
the lowest na price.
Entry level price.
yeah,
Yes.
entry
If
level
it's
price.
if it's
Yeah.
For an
I
established
think
brand.
so.
Yes.
I think
For an
yes, it
established
is.
brand. Yeah.
Yes.
When I was checking
Yeah.
it, it's only rivaled by the Cherry
Very
Tigo
equal too.
2.
Yes.
But of course, like these two brands are in different stages
Yeah, they are.
in their life, right?
Yeah.
So this car has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which I think hits the target market for what Kia is looking for.
Yes.
Maybe for first-time car buyers. Of course, there's the Toyota Wigo, which we just discussed, which tops at 700,000 pesos. But for this one, for if you add just 35,000 more, you get a crossover. It also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And of course, yeah, I mean,
More space. More space
more
too.
space.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much, but there's a considerable space, especially for the second row. But in terms of cargo space, it might be similar to the Wigo.
Ah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and it looks cool. Of course, like when you buy a Wigo, it's for uh, first-time car
Diamond
buyers.
dozen
But
everywhere.
when you buy a Wigo, you have a sure thing. It's backed by probably the
Toyota.
strongest brand we have right
Toyota.
now in Toyota.
Yeah.
But for sure, you have something that has a bit more charisma to it. With the two-tone colors. But you get the two-tone colors only for the top of the line variant, which
The
costs
EX, no?
Yep.
yes, in 125,000 pesos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd probably get the LX. Or at least majority would get the LX because it's
The mid-
automatic.
mid variant.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mid variant.
Yeah.
It's also
and,
worth noting, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken, that Kia has a 5-year warranty with
Yes.
a 5-year, 160,000 kilometer warranty, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
160K?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
5-year. 5-year.
How many years? How much driving in a year is that?
Yeah, like,
Thirty-
Calculator.
around
Yeah,
30.
You need a calculator for that? I'm very unimpressed.
I
Okay,
understand.
you know, I
There were
actually,
concerns.
the shot of this, whoever shot this photo did a really
32,000.
good job. Who shot this photo?
That's you.
Paulo?
It's your photo, right,
That's me.
Carl?
Yeah, he
Paulo.
was. He did a good job.
There you go.
Because it looks really good at this angle.
Yeah.
Especially
It
given that
actually
we're
made me
shooting in a
believe in the
warehouse.
color. I remember like seeing the press like that color in press photos. I'm like,
Too yellow.
like-
yeah.
yeah. But then when I saw this photo, I'm like, okay, it's actually good. It's actually really good.
Yeah, because despite the small stature of the car, it actually looks like a proper crossover with
Yes.
with the ground clearance, with the faux skid plates, with the black cladding on the fenders and on the side skirt, and it also has that signature Kia front with a tiger nose grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the roof rail. So it actually looks like a proper crossover because some people might have a concern that maybe it's just a marketing thing that is the crossover. But
No,
when
no.
you drive the car, it actually feels like a crossover. And what I like about it is that even if it's a crossover, it's a bit higher off the ground. It feels like a hatchback when you drive it. right? So you don't
That's
feel
good. That's good.
too high. So it's a good all-around car, especially for a first-time car buyer. If it's for someone, I guess, who's single and like buying his first car, it's
Ouch!
a good option to have.
I feel attacked.
And if you look at the photo, you'll see that this was shot in one of Kia's warehouses, right?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
And you can see all the parts they're storing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, we had
Yeah,
an
which-
awesome time in that warehouse. It's so
it's
full of
it's something that Kia has been trying to emphasize for a while now, the availability of parts, because that's been a concern which they're trying to address. So yeah, as you can see, they've got a lot of parts stored for all
Yeah.
you guys worrying about that.
From doors to like engine
Yeah.
parts. They have
From-
They
all
had
it.
everything. They had wiring
From what I
harnesses.
from
they
what
had
I
everything.
from what I asked, it's enough to almost like completely rebuild the car if need be. That's how many parts they have na stored. Like the extensiveness of the parts.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
And then
Oh,
and then
we
syempre,
asked you
okay,
guys.
sorry.
You guys came up with this in terms of what you suggested for a new car buyer. However, all new car buyers are different. So let's go through this. Paolo, who would buy this car? Who do you think this car's for?
This is someone who. It's just for someone who who's
It's
buying
for
his,
Paolo.
his or, who's buying his or her first car. Someone who holds the design of the car and the feature that it has to at a high priority. Because if you're just looking for something affordable, you could go for like a Hyundai Reina or like a
Soluto.
mid-variant Vios or a Soluto, but you don't really have that kind of like design factor to it. It's just really basic. You know you know what you're getting to. But for this one, you still value the design of the car, and it has a generous amount of technology. So it's a value for money.
Okay.
Okay, so your choice for this was for someone who is buying their first car but paying for their own first car, who has a
Yes.
little bit more, who is willing to pay a little bit more for the aesthetics, for the design influences, which we did like. Okay, this car sounds like in a lot of ways Nix's choice, which is the Coolray. Nix, who's the Coolray for? Is it the same market? Is it a different market?
No. For me, there are two markets for the Coolray. One for those who aren't afraid to give it a try, because like I was about to say Geely, who's starting out in the Geely, who's starting out in the in the industry. Like they're pretty new compared to everyone
Locally.
else.
Locally.
Locally.
Yes.
Like they're building the brand, and
pick a
if
person.
you're willing
Who's the
to,
If this person,
okay.
is this a family guy? Is this a single guy? What?
Probably the one with like planning to get married already, and then those who aren't afraid of trying something different, but who are still budget conscious. And this is like the upgrade from, like, if you're coming from something like the Kia Stonic, this is like your upgrade.
Yeah,
Because
that's
in
true.
terms of size, power, drivability.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah,
True.
for natural
In-
progression.
Okay, Chris. We know what I mean. Who besides you? Who's the XL7 for?
This is for the single guy who just wants to go about town and just paint the town red and pardon. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's the only
I'm like, that still sounds
seven-seater.
like you.
It's the only 7-seater. So that tells you either you want to move 7 people. No, I'm just kidding. No, this
Start
is
a
this is
carpool
great.
business.
This is great for a starting family. The third row is actually very usable in the XL7. So I
yeah.
can safely say that if you've got 2 young kids, this would actually be a great choice. Perfect for those with one young kid. So for first car buyers with a starting family, looking to spread their budget to as much as possible, this is an excellent choice.
Yeah.
You can store a lot in the back. It's got a very usable third row, a very spacious second row, and it's okay to drive. Also, it's comfortable. and drives well. So yeah, very
Yeah.
clear who this is marketed
Can
towards.
it fit a stroller in the back folded
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
the third row up?
Oh.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. G, who's your car?
Okay. Yeah, the Mazda 2. It just like the Coolray, it's aimed at two types of buyers. One would be the single guy or gal who loves driving.
Ah, it's me.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's for I guess uh, guys or even couples who uh, are watching their expenses yet want something that looks good and fun to drive, and that 5-year free maintenance program gives them that. So there.
I have a friend who got addicted to the Mazda eh. When I recommended him years ago for the Mazda 2, for what it was,
That,
right?
that was still the 3-year program, I suppose.
Now he has all the Mazdas.
Cool. There you
Yeah,
go.
Oh, wait,
he has
Francis.
the two. Oh, sorry.
Francis, who's yours for?
Hey,
The Wigo.
Wigo is perfect for single persons, but it can also be a good choice for couples, who can live with that size, the dimensions, meaning they don't carry enough, they don't have requirements for big trunk space, even for starting up families. The Wigo, I think,
Yeah.
is a good choice for them. But
Yeah.
more importantly, the Wigo is for those who are
Okay,
budget.
here's you. Okay, I think I've been frozen.
Ah,
No.
yeah, I think you froze. I think you...
There.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I lost you guys for a sec. Okay, my question is this: we all love cars. Will the people who buy these cars love these cars?
If it caters to what they need, that's why we gave different options. Then yes.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
an if. It's a will they love the Coolray? Will they develop an attachment to it?
I think they will.
I think they will.
Depende. Like if you're looking for a 7-seater but get the Coolray, you're gonna have animosity towards it. So for me, yeah, if you get the car
For
that
you, it
fits your
depends.
personality,
Depends on
Paulo,
which
your choice.
yeah,
Do you think they will love the car if they get it?
I think if it's the right market, like if it's like what we've mentioned, I think they would like it because of the price. Although I understand that if you get the top of the line EX at 925,000, it's kind of close to what the Coolray
Okay,
costs.
I'm going to change the question because I'm getting too many of the same "it depends" answers. My question is this: if you look at the Mazda, that's a car that you could love easily because of how it handles and so on. If you look at the Wigo, it's a car you could love because it suddenly allows you to do something you could never do before, which is buy your first brand new car. Okay. If it's like Chris, if it's the XL7, you could love it because all of a sudden your family is going to grow into it. Okay. It's going to grow into it. It's going to be the car that brings you places, that lets you go out of town, that you identify with your growing family. So that's what I'm asking. Do you think people will love these cars in that way? Why would they love these cars? Okay, I mean, assuming not because they bought the wrong car or whatever. That's not part of it. If this car is integrated into the life of the person you are aiming it for, would they
Yes,
end up
because
loving it?
I would say that that the Kia Stonic is targeted for people of my group, of my age, and it's something I wouldn't mind driving every day because what I really look for in my everyday car, regardless of if I'm a car guy or not, I want something that's drivable, that I don't have I wouldn't have a problem bringing in tight spaces. Something that has the technology that I need, which are the camera to assist me in parking in tight spaces, and the convenience features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Those are what I look for. And I think at this point, I would also maybe prefer, like, if it's my only car, a crossover. So considering all that, yes, it's something that they would love.
Yeah, like for me,
Right.
the Mazda 2. Okay, if car guys like me, I definitely love it because, yeah, as you said, it handles well, power is more than adequate because it's light, it's feature packed, and even at my age, when you're already looking at practicality, even if you didn't have the 5-year maintenance program, it's still relatively affordable to maintain. So yeah, would be a great car.
Francis, you have the most economically friendly choice, I would say, the most stable choice. Do you think the people that get this car would love this car?
Yeah, I think most people would be, choose the Wigo. They love it because of its practicality, you know, and it's easy to maintain. I think that's one of its, strongest suits, and you have that Toyota reliability.
Right. 'Cause remember, one of the things that the current president of Toyota said was that he grew up loving cars, which is very obvious. But he also said that the modern buyer is going to love cars, but in a different way. They're going to love it for what the car can do for them, what it allows them to do. In the case of the Wigo, I think it's because they could love it because it's their first car. It's the car they might go on dates with, meet their wife in, or their husband in, things like that. I would love the Mazda because I would just surely enjoy the drivability of it. I would love the Stonic because it's cute as heck and it's fun. And it's something I could easily hand off to a child learning how to drive. I would love the XL7 probably because the same reason we love the Hyundai Santa Fe, because it's what grew up with our family as we started doing things. And it's the car that the kids would probably most remember, probably have the most photos in. I would love the Coolray because I think it's a daring choice for a car company that is just kind of punching above its weight right now. And that's we could go forever on specs, but the truth is we love cars and we really want to see people love these cars more. One of the next questions we're going to have, by the way, and this is one that we've discussed it several times and people still want us to answer it more clearly, is what do you get your kid who's going to college? So that's one of our next questions, because we have to take into account things like, it used to be like people would buy pickups for their kids, but that's not the case anymore. Would you buy them a
For the
Wigo?
weirdest reasons.
Well, I mean, their reasoning at the time, was it can take the most damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
but
And
the
the
fact that it's
usual
intrinsically
answer.
the most unstable isn't good for a
Exactly.
first-time buyer either, right?
True.
And you
Yep,
want to
exactly.
go to the university belt and try and park a pickup truck, or you want to try and park a Wigo?
We go.
yeah, right?
Ako we go
So-
all the way, baby.
Okay. So basically, you guys have all given your own points and your own views and heart shine through, and thank you for that. These have all been good choices. They've all been intelligent choices, and I hope we've helped people along the way. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for honestly, thank you for asking the darn question, because we see these things all the time, and we kind of forget that we're helping people make very, very important decisions. And these decisions aren't necessarily about specs or numbers. They're also about how you feel about the car. And everyone's had an impassioned view about the car and about the other people's cars. None of these are bad choices, in my opinion. These all they all have a reason to be in your garage or on your street or whatever. So thank you very, very much, everyone. Thank you for joining the Cars Casually gang once again. We've had a few technical difficulties and I've disappeared, but I've come back. Thank you. This has been Chris. This has been, who are you? Paulo. This has been Nix. This has been G. This has been Francis. This is what happens when our design director tells me to take all the names off. I can't just read them. This has been Carl. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Tell us what you want to know, because we want something else to talk about. Thank you very, very much. Goodbye, everyone.
See you guys soon.